Hey y'all, and welcome to the Max Life. I want to give you an update of where we are in our new room. The floor is done. I don't think I've shown you guys that. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell y'all a long story in just a minute. We're going to get there. You see there's a spot of paper up. We had it covered up. All the floor is done. This is where we're at on the wall in here. Leaving the top. This is actually going to be like a built-in like dining hutch area. All of this side over here that you see, this is all going to be sheetrock, including the window that Sayla's standing in. Used to be window. All that's going to be sheetrock. We've got insulation put in. Electrical is run. This is kind of where we're at right now. The unfortunate part is we've had two major storms blow through in our area, which I'm not complaining. We really needed the rain. But the outside, we are still waiting on the rest of this siding to be done. So last night and 2 days before that, when we had the storms coming in, the rainwater was falling right here in these windows and going behind and absolutely flooded the floor, which is why you see the paper roll back like that, because all of this around the door and everything was so wet. We had to roll the paper back and let it dry, and I come in here and put towels all down to try to get that up, and lots of towels in the laundry room for that. But I want to show you some storm damage that we had. So we're fixing to take a look at that. We definitely have some stuff to replace, but it could have been much worse. It is 8 o'clock and I can't believe how much they already have done. But I'm going to show y'all. Y'all remember where our barn area is at? It's up by one of our big gardens, and we had a huge tree over here that come down in that storm, and thankfully it fell the way that it fell. And although it did tear up one of our fences, it could have taken down our whole barn. So I'm going to show y'all what they're cleaning up. You see, that was one of the trees we had go down. We also had another tree go down. I'm just going to take y'all to that spot right now. So you see that one of the trees took our cattle gates and some of our pig fencing completely out. That in itself is going to be about $1,000 worth of damage. But it could have been worse. It could have taken our whole barn down with our animals in it. It could have been a lot worse. Here's the other tree that went down over here. So two right here by the pond. It actually happened on 2 different days from 2 different storms. That's what's so crazy. The first storm that come down took the tree down over there that they're cleaning up that fell on our fence. Last night about 10:45, we had another major storm come in, and it took this tree down right here, which this was a pretty big tree. You can see it looks like a piece of it might have been rotted out. I don't know, I really can't tell. Some of it looks pretty healthy. It looks like the top was pretty healthy, but the whole top of it come out. We definitely had some strong winds, and to tell you, we weren't really expecting those storms at all. We got no kind of warnings or anything. It just was like, bam, both times. But our grounds really needed some water. So unfortunately, we are having to clean up some pretty big tree messes. But we do have some rain, and our animals really needed rain. Our grounds really needed rain. So kind of a bummer situation. That the trees did come down. We were not expecting that at all. with the rain. We knew we were going to get some rain this weekend. We did not know we were going to get major storms. Just riding around this morning, it also looks like my high tunnel took a pretty good hit. The 2 front panels to it have looked like they've been twisted up. I'm going to show y'all a clip of that. Our high tunnel, we all know that's a pretty big structure, and definitely the first 2 poles for sure are they've just been taken out. So I'm not sure what that's gonna look like fixing that. I don't know if there's any more damage. That's just from what I can tell this morning, just being outside. So we're a little shocked for sure. We were not expecting, like I told y'all, we were expecting rain. We were not expecting these kind of storms for sure. Guys, it is almost dark. I wanted to show you some progress that we've made outside. We have some board going up. One of our shutters have gone up already. So we are making some wonderful progress there, which I'm really thrilled about. But before I ended this video, guys, I've never really shared this with y'all, maybe bits and pieces here and there, but I really wanted to focus on something that I feel like is so important. Now, a lot of you guys know my nursing background, my nursing history. I've never really shared a lot with y'all really about some of the reasons I walked away. One of those is because I began to see things in practice, hands-on, that I didn't agree with. One of those was me knowing that there were underlying conditions that could have been cured, y'all, I said the word cured, could have been cured by doing natural health changes, diet changes, things like that. But instead, we were handing out pills, which I had a problem with. It kind of began me questioning, what are we doing? What is going on? Then as I started digging, I started finding out more about cancer. There was a young gentleman around that same time that was in our previous church that had just been diagnosed with a brain tumor, which caused me to question things even more. And long story short, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I began to see things that just didn't add up. I began to dig deeper and deeper into some of these things and found out that the root cause was in our food. And I've shared some with y'all before, especially when I talk about things like growing your own foods naturally, trying to be organic, buying those organic things, shopping from places like Azure. I don't tell y'all those things just to tell y'all those things. I tell y'all those things because we're practicing those things as well. And to sum it all up, it cannot be presented any more beautifully. I don't consider myself to be a wonderful speaker. I don't get things out very well. And for sure from the South, where we talk very Southern and say things sometimes that aren't actually correct to grammar, if you know what I'm saying. I know I do it all the time. That's just because it's what I grew up hearing. If it wasn't from like my teacher in school who actually taught with probably proper English, nobody else in the South really does that. So I formed a bad habit of doing that as well. Long story short, this is a highly intelligent, actually brother and sister, and Tucker Carlson does an interview. I posted this, guys, because I want y'all to go over and watch it. I want y'all to have the same kind of knowledge and come to the realization that I did many years ago about what is truly going on. So I shared that link over in the community post. I hope that you guys, if you didn't check it out, I'm telling you now to go check it out, please, because it will open your eyes to so many things that are really being swept under the rug. They're not being talked about. They're being hidden for a reason. So he does this interview with a brother and sister, actually, that graduated. Like, one was from Stanford and maybe one was from Harvard. But Callie and Casey, and he sits down with these. One is a medical professional, and the other one, I don't remember all his backstory. But guys, the information that they submit in this video will blow your socks off. And I started uncovering a lot of this stuff many years ago, but the way they present this interview is absolutely incredible. And the way they sit down and break down and explain how certain studies come out that are guidelines or protocols, for example, that may be submitted to our pediatricians for them to go by, and where those studies came from, and how some of the studies get published and some of them don't. So they break all of that stuff down. They really talk about a lot of the chemicals that are in these foods and what they're actually really seeing happen to Americans. Specifically, they key in on a lot of children and a lot of things that are happening there. Guys, I cannot encourage you enough. It is a long interview. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, something like that. Even if you have to break it down into pieces and listen to it, that's the way I listen to it. But it is so worth it to know these things, because many medical professionals, I think, I mean, me being one of them, went in wanting to help people, but they are not teaching the right things in school. And that's what I very quickly found out, that we're not addressing the root causes. We're covering up the chronic conditions with a band-aid, so to speak, by handing out these pills. We are managing conditions instead of curing them, instead of getting down to the root cause, what is the actual real problem going on. And they address all of that in this interview. Guys, it is very eye-opening. I hope also that you will share it with people that you know, because until we get knowledge, it's hard to make change. Once we're aware of what's going on, it's easier to say, we're not going to drink bottled water because I know what's in the plastic, or we're not going to consume dyes because we know what they're doing to our bodies. We are not going to consume this meat that's not organic, because everything about this cow has been sprayed with everything you can imagine. And when you start looking at those chemicals and what they do to the cells in our body, it will make you think twice about some of those things. I'm so glad that I decided to walk away from my nursing career. I wanted to be home. I wanted to raise my children first and foremost, but I also wanted to get away from some of the things that I was seeing, because I did not feel right about a lot of the things that I was seeing, specifically in vaccines. And they briefly addressed vaccines in that video, but specifically vaccines and some of the things that were going on there. I knew that I couldn't, in my right conscience, continue to do that. So fully walking away from my nursing career. And then I began to take on a whole different approach, a holistic approach, wanting to treat things, acute things that maybe come up, like colds that I've been dealing with the God-given medicine in plants and herbs. So taking on just a totally different approach there. And I feel like a lot of that was inspired from what I had already seen. And I want this knowledge to not stop with me and to not stop with you. I hope that you guys will share Tucker's video and a lot of the truths that they are spilling about what is really going on. Guys, thanks as always for tagging along. I am going to post the link to that video in my description and in my comments, so you guys can very easily access that. Thanks as always. God bless and happy homesteading, y'all.